This is Virgin Gorda, the third largest island in the British Virgin Islands, home to the rich and famous, including the likes of Richard Branson and the founder of Google, and where you'll find some of the most pristine beaches in the Caribbean.
It's best known for the giant granite boulders scattered across the island, and it's also earned a reputation as a luxury destination that attracts the wealthy.
As budget-conscious travellers, Virgin Gorda might seem like an unusual choice for us, but we decided to spend 48 hours in the BVI's Billionaires playground to see whether there was another side to the island and to find out if it's possible to visit on a budget. Good morning, we have arrived at the ferry terminal in Tortola because we are heading to Virgin Gorda today.
We are going to Fiji for just 2 days. The ferry has cost us $40 per person return, which is actually cheaper than doing it online. If you do it online, there's like a booking fee and it's $84.
On Virgin Gorda. The ferry ride over was actually really smooth, and as soon as we could see Virgin Gorda you could spot the boulders from like a mile off. I'm really excited for the next few days. This island is gonna be so pretty.
So we've just checked into our Airbnb, had a quick change. The BVI is a very expensive place, we've learned. So we booked the cheapest place in Virgin Gorda. It's a very simple little Airbnb, but it'll do the job.
This view is absolutely incredible. We can see the boulders over there. We can see the sea, we can see other islands in the BVI. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Virgin Gorda is a tiny island and you can drive from one end to the other in about 20 minutes. There is just one main road. This island is quite narrow, so there's lots of viewpoints where you can see gorgeous water. We've stopped at our first one. This beach is probably my favourite beach in the whole world.
It's pretty cool to see the Atlantic Ocean on one side and the Caribbean Sea on the other from up here. We'd seen this beach a few years ago, but it was even more beautiful than we remembered. And flying the drone, we got a whole new appreciation for it.
We've decided, since the tide is so low, we're gonna go down there now, have a little swim.
Even though Savannah Bay is not far from the road, steep sand dunes and lack of any buildings make it feel really secluded.
Three, two, one. Oh, it's so clear.
Do I look like I'm naked because of my blue shorts?
Yeah.
Can't open my eyes. It's too bright.
He can never open his eyes, ever. I always try and get pictures of...
Yeah, I live like this.
We really could have spent hours here, but with just 48 hours on the island and plenty more to see, we needed to get moving. Hog Heaven is one of the most well-known places to eat in Virgin Gorda, especially for its pulled pork and barbecue ribs, but the incredible view is probably what gets most people up here. From here you can see across the northern tip of Virgin Gorda and out over what's called North Sound, which is basically this beautiful sheltered area filled with tiny privately owned islands and luxury resorts, one of which we're actually going to visit tomorrow. Wow! So we are sharing the ribs, the pulled pork sandwich, and then we ordered the ribs with this coleslaw and rice.
Hog Heaven was quite expensive. It was $46, so you definitely pay a premium for the view.
They're known for their pulled pork and their barbecue ribs, so we ordered that. It was good, but definitely think you pay a premium for where it is. And it's super windy, so don't wear a hat. As you're driving through the northern part of Virgin Gorda, there's all of these decked out platforms. Each of them, like along the road, give you a different perspective of the island. So even though you're kind of looking at the same thing, your perspective is totally different. Like we've driven 3 minutes from Hog Heaven I feel like I'm closer now to Necker Island, even though I think I'm actually further away. Do you get what I mean? Actually really worth stopping off at these platforms.
That up there is where we're going later.
You see that? We have just arrived at some historical ruins. This is an old copper mine, a 19th century copper mine. In the 1800s, they would mine copper here and then ship it to Wales to be processed. It's now a national park.
The copper mine closed in the 1860s and the buildings are most definitely ruins, but there are still some very pretty rocks around this national park, with copper, granite, quartz and other mineral deposits creating colourful patterns in the stone. We didn't stick around long though, because there isn't too much to see and we needed to make another quick change before our next stop.
We have just arrived at the trailhead for the Gorda Peak hike. There's actually two entrances to this summit. There's one that takes 50 minutes, so the longer one. We are going to do the shorter one, which is 800 meters, so we'll find out how long it takes us, but we have just felt the first few spots of rain. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we don't get wet.
Let's go.
We definitely recommend doing the hike either super early in the morning or in the late afternoon to avoid the heat. It gets incredibly hot in Virgin Gorda, especially during the summer months. If you can stomach the early rise, then you'll be able to watch a beautiful sunrise with North Sound in the foreground, or if you prefer a little lie-in, then head up at sunset. Hopefully you'll have better luck than we did.
We decided to do the hike in the evening because it'd be a lot cooler, but it's been clear skies all day and now there's so much cloud. We thought we'd get a really nice sunset over Tortola and the US Virgin Islands, but it's looking like it'll be a very grey sky and not much colour, but there's still about an hour till sunset.
So far the trail is pretty easy. It's a little bit rocky, but it's nothing difficult, so don't judge me because I'm out of breath. So steep. Oh, it's windy as well. Wow, look at this view. I feel like we're on top of the world. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
It is. How much did Richard Branson pay for Necker Island? He paid £180,000 for it. Dollars, sorry, in 1978.
You can literally buy a one-bedroom house for that nowadays.
Yeah, well, it was on the market for $6 million, and he put in a joke bid of 100,000. They accepted it.
That is insane.
The hike up only took 15 minutes, but unfortunately we weren't rewarded with a clear sky sunset, even though we waited as long as we could before it got dark.
If you don't like snakes, look away now. We just got to the last step and I looked up and saw this. The biggest snake we've seen in the Caribbean. So we have decided to head back down to the car before it gets dark, and then we're going to head to a restaurant that we went to about 3 years ago, and it was so delicious. Probably one of our favourite restaurants we've ever been to in the BVI. We're going to see if it lives up to its expectations tonight.
The sun ain't gonna shine all day. Can't wait to see it on your face.
CocoMaya is an Asian fusion restaurant that feels more like a night out. We hadn't made a reservation, so we sat at the bar with some cocktails while we waited for a table. And as usual, this place didn't disappoint.
It's probably not the place to come for a quiet and romantic dinner. It's loud and busy, but the music is good and the service is on point. Yes, it's expensive, and it cost us around $200 for 2 cocktails, 2 starters, and 2 mains. But honestly, we think it's worth it, and it's still firmly our favourite restaurant in the BVI.
Catch me in the cut, hun. Something like the dark running.
We have arrived at probably one of the most famous places in the British Virgin Islands. We are about to make our way through a labyrinth of enormous boulders that are scattered along the coastline down here. They make little tide pools and caves. It's a very iconic place. We've come down about 9 o'clock. We've already spotted a few people here, but I think it's going to be relatively quiet, so let's find out. Thank you. So it costs $3 US per person for an adult ticket, and that gets you into the baths and to Devil's Bay.
Reach out to yourself. Amazing.
What good news did we just have from the lady in the...
No cruise ships today.
So what does that mean?
A lot less people around.
Yes. Always check the cruise ship schedules in the Caribbean, especially in places like the British Virgin Islands where it's very, very popular for cruise ships. If you are visiting some of the more popular places when cruise ships are in port, you are guaranteed to have quite big crowds.
As soon as we started walking down to the baths, we could already see the giant granite boulders dotted along the trail. Before you even get down to the beach, you start getting a little glimpse of what's waiting at the bottom. So when you look at reviews of the baths, you'll see a lot of people referring to the hike. There is no hike. I don't know why people call it a hike, because it really is just a walk down a sandy path. We're doing it barefoot and it's flat pretty much all the way, so don't listen to the reviews of people who make it sound scary.
The boulders are honestly huge up close, and they're what makes this part of Virgin Gorda so different. They formed deep underground millions of years ago when molten rock slowly cooled and hardened. Over time, the softer land around them wore away, exposing these ginormous boulders. Then the sea and the weather did the rest, shaping the natural pools, caves, tunnels, and little passageways that we now know as the baths.
It's pretty cool to see, like, these giant boulders are just stacked on top of each other.
Like, they could literally fall at any point. I'm sure they won't. I'm sure they've been there millions of years. So crazy to see.
Clambering through the baths is a bit of a surreal experience. You've got these absolutely huge rocks resting on top of and wedged between each other, right above your head. It's like a giant has tried to play a real-life game of Tetris. There are a few tight spaces to squeeze through and narrow staircases to navigate, so you'll need to be a little agile, but it's nothing strenuous.
Wow, this is amazing. We made sure to check that it was low tide this morning, because look at this. This triangular wedge-shaped pool at the end of the baths is just heaven, and if you're here at the right time, you'll see sunlight peeking through the rocks, reflecting off the water and bouncing around the cave. When you reach the end of the baths, you'll emerge at this small but beautiful beach. I'm absolutely sweating. Absolutely gorgeous. There's beaches and then there's beaches. There are lockers, a few souvenir stalls, restrooms and a bar, but it can get pretty busy here as it's where most people stop after visiting the baths. So we decided to go one bay over to Devil's Bay, and don't worry, we have a few hidden gems tucked up our sleeve later in the video.
So beautiful, isn't it? I feel like you only see somewhere else that looks like this, like the Seychelles.
Yes, so true. Just made it to Devil's Bay. It's a lot quieter here than it was at the end of the baths. I think we're going to sit for a bit, definitely take a swim. It's about time we cooled off. Wow.
In our opinion, Devil's Bay is even more beautiful than the beach at the end of the baths. It's crescent-shaped with pristine white sand, beautiful turquoise waters, and it's lined on either side by more of those huge granite boulders. We spent a little bit longer at the baths and Devil's Bay than we initially planned to. For some reason we didn't take any water, anything to eat with us. It's 20 to 1 and we've not eaten or drank anything all day because, yeah, we're really clever. So we've come to a little cafe, got a matcha and waiting on a panini. Hey.
We just got freshened up and we've arrived at Gun Creek. We're heading on a boat to an island that's only 1.5 acres in size. Only thing on there is a resort, a restaurant, a gift shop and a bar. And we're also going to go to a yacht club.
So if you want to get there in the boat, you just come and you tell the captain you want to go to Billionaires.
Okay.
They will drop you.
Awesome, thank you. And how much is it to go across?
As long as you go in, spend your money, so
Okay.
you guys just come, enjoy it,
Yeah.
and be have fun.
Thank you very much. It's at this point you start to get a feel of the type of visitor the area attracts, because the water gradually becomes dotted with mega yachts, catamarans and speedboats.
We're here! This is Saba Rock, and the history of this place goes back to the 1960s when it first opened as a dive shop. Since then, it's continuously expanded and was rebuilt after Hurricane Irma into the resort it is today. This is known around the world as a billionaires playground, and that's because there's some of the most high-end real estate here, private islands owned by the rich and famous, and it's where all the mega yachts come.
Even though you can walk the circumference of Saba Rock in about 3 minutes, we found plenty to keep us entertained for a few hours.
Group of people passing by actually laughed at how bad we were at this game.
Very good, are we?
Should we give up? How many goes did it take to get 3 in the hole?
We didn't get 3.
You got 2?
Yeah.
How many goes?
A lot. How many goes did it take you to get 0 in the hole?
So embarrassing. We gave cornhole everything we had, which unfortunately wasn't much.
There is no dialing tone, but that might be because I've not put any money in it. It definitely doesn't work.
Oh.
When we came here about 3 years ago, there was no stickers on it. I think it looked better with no stickers,
Yeah.
personally.
There are some funny stickers on there. We should get a sticker like this. You know, Lauren and Jack.
Yeah, maybe not.
What?
Maybe not.
Hi, can I get the cucumber lemonade, please, and the cool down? Thank you very much. So we just paid $24 for 2 non-alcoholic drinks. So I hope they're about 2 litres inside. And now we're going to play a bit of pool. For the sake of our dignity, we had slightly more success playing pool than we did at cornhole. We also had a go at giant Jenga, and let us know in the comments, are you allowed to try half the tower before choosing the easiest block?
Even though it's built to attract the wealthy, and it's definitely a high-end place, we loved that Saba Rock felt casual too. Most people were walking around in swimwear, sandals or barefoot, so it still had a really relaxed island feel. From Saba Rock we could see our next stop, where we plan to have dinner and watch sunset. This place is actually on Virgin Gorda, but it's only accessible by boat because no roads have been built to this part of the island. Look at that big ass boat. We've made it to Bitter and Yacht Club. I think it shows how much money they're making, the fact that they can afford to have 2 boats to ferry people around for free every day. But it looks so beautiful down here, and you get a beautiful view of the sun setting over Virgin Gorda later.
There's so many islands, like I can't even decipher which one's which. When I look out, there's just so many.
Even though it's called a yacht club, it has more of a resort type feel. There's restaurants, cafes, bars, waterfront rooms, a marina and shops. It's more of a little sailing village than a yacht club.
It's easy to feel like a little bit out of place because we're not rich and famous. We're just like two ordinary people trying to explore the country that we're in. We've only paid $24 so far this afternoon. We've not actually spent any money yet. We are going to have some food here, so we'll see how much that comes to. But just being here and experiencing it, like we haven't had to pay an entry fee. It's definitely possible to enjoy a paradise like this on a budget.
It's not often you see this many ridiculously expensive boats in one place, right?
I feel like we have snagged the best spot for sunset. We're at the only table at this bar, at the helm of this boat, and this is our view. Where we sat for dinner was a bar made out of a boat with a table at the helm. This boat is called Reef Sampler and it was actually used to help build the resort in the 1970s. Sadly, it was sunk during Hurricane Irma in 2017, but was raised from the seabed to form this essential part of the new resort. Spread, you have got pulled pork tacos, sweet potato fries, poke tune ball, and Asian slaw. This looks so delicious, doesn't it?
Yep.
$130, please, sir.
$100.30, which for 2 mains, 2 sides, and 2 drinks, I thought it'd be more expensive.
You did?
Yeah, considering where we are.
Yeah. Now just heading back to where we're going to get a boat back to Gun Creek. We've given up once again on the sunset today. Crazy that we've really only spent $100 here and $30 at Saba Rock. So we've had an afternoon on a private island resort, a luxury yacht club for $130. We have just pulled over in what feels like the middle of nowhere. It is 7 AM and we are about to check out this. Jack just farted in the background. We are about to check out this Virgin Gorda sign. So on all of the islands there is a sign like this where you've got like a really good photo opportunity, but here is actually a pretty cool spot.
So from up here you get an idea of the kind of wealth that is in Virgin Gorda. You can see 2 of Richard Branson's private islands, Necker Island and Mosquito Island. And then you can also see Eustacia, which is owned by the founder of Google, Larry Page. And you can see a few different resorts that are probably over, well, thousands of dollars a night. It's pretty wild. It really feels like there are 2 distinct areas to Virgin Gorda. So like you can really see from up in these viewpoints that Spanish Town and where the baths are is really flat. It's the area that's covered in boulders. But then you've got the North Sound area, which is really steep and really mountainous. So feel really different. So North Sound is where you've got all the private islands, really expensive living. And then Spanish Town is where just regular day-to-day life happens and where most people live. So it seems like the lifestyle and the landscape are contrasting from one end of the island to the other. Quite interesting.
One thing that definitely helped our budget and we were quite surprised by was the quality and choice of supermarkets in Virgin Gorda.
$2? Well, $2 something.
And now
Bargain. Saves us buying water at the beach.
on other islands we've been to of this size, you're lucky to get a convenience store. But here there are at least 3 good quality supermarkets, so we stocked up on drinks and snacks there during our trip to save some pennies.
By now, you know the beaches in Virgin Gorda are out of this world, so we wanted to spend our final morning here exploring more of them.
Just arrived and parked up at Spring Bay National Park. There's no other cars in the car park, So I'm hoping that we're going to have the whole beach to ourselves, which would be quite special because this beach is actually right next to the baths. So in terms of proximity to like the most iconic thing to do on the island, we are next door to it. So if we get to experience it and it's just us, that would be pretty cool. Look at that view. That's insane. That is so beautiful. I think we're the only ones here. It turned out we did have the beach all to ourselves. Being here completely alone felt like we'd been washed up on a deserted island or morphed into characters from Moana. There's just something so surreal about being surrounded by these giant boulders scattered along a beach.
The boulders are literally huge. Like, it's so impressive. This part of Virgin Gorda, the coast here, is honestly like nothing I've ever seen anywhere else. It's incredible. It's stupidly refreshing because it's so hot.
We'd seen the boulders from above ground but wanted to see them underwater. We'd heard lots of fish hang around the base of them and there is some impressive snorkeling. Unfortunately, we didn't see too many fish here, so maybe we chose the wrong boulder.
If you prefer a secluded beach, then we highly recommend this area over the Baths and Devil's Bay, which can get crowded, especially when there are cruise ships in.
Spring Bay was magical, but somehow it was about to get even better.
We walked through a little gap in the rocks to the right hand side of Spring Bay and you come out at Little Trunk Beach. We've been told even when the island is busy, not many people know about this beach. And have a little bit of paradise, usually all to yourself.
We keep on moving along, we keep on rolling. No, we ain't slowing it down. We ain't slowing down. Moving. We keep on moving along, we keep on rolling. Yeah. No, we ain't slowing.
And while I relaxed and swam, Jack took a walk to find a trail to another beach.
But I think I've got to climb up some rocks to get there, so I'll find out.
Good things they never last. Pull up in a whip, you know I had to hit the gas. Yeah, that's premium. Pull up with a team and I ain't worried about the other side. They know that they get it.
The most impressive beach I've ever seen with nobody on it. Not a single person. Just me. Wow.
We felt so privileged to have such beautiful coastline all to ourselves. It made us realise that even though Virgin Gorda is expensive and it attracts wealthy visitors, for us the best parts of the island are completely natural. The beaches, the views, the boulders, the ocean, the actual magic of Virgin Gorda is in the stuff money can't buy. Before we get the ferry back to Tortola, we have come for some food. We're at a place called Good Vibes. Is it Good Vibes only? Good Vibes Bar. We're really hungry, so I've ordered wings and you're gonna have tuna. Cheers. That's absolutely huge. That's such a big portion, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm very hungry.
So good.
The last bit of money we spent in Virgin Gorda was on this meal, which came to $50.
Bye bye to the cheapest Airbnb in the billionaires' paradise.
And that's where our time in Virgin Gorda came to an end. Our total spend for 48 hours here came to just under $1,000 for 2 people. and we could have spent a lot less if we chose more budget-friendly restaurants.
This tiny island in the BVI might be known as a playground for billionaires and a destination for the wealthy, but if you don't mind finding cheaper accommodation, using the supermarket and eating local, you can definitely do it on a smaller budget.
You can get a taste of the luxury lifestyle without spending much, and for us, the best thing about Virgin Gorda is the beaches, and they're completely free.
Join us next time as we explore more of the British Virgin Islands, and if you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.